What's good in the hood, people? What's good in the hood? We are live again for a special edition of Sunday Session Live. Um, Looking forward to this one. Looking forward to what you guys have to say regarding Yarde's performance and Beterbiev versus Bivol, and some people even saying that Callum Smith can dethrone Beterbiev, which I think is a bit crazy. Looking forward to what you have to say about Buatsi. Buatsi was there in the studio. I feel like he's in a bit of a limbo situation right now. I'm not quite sure what's going on. And then I'm a big Kell Brook fan. You guys have probably seen the videos circulating of Kell Brook doing a big line of cocaine. Look, I don't like to get into people's personals and what they do outside the ring, but a lot of you have asked me my opinion, so I shall give you my opinion a bit later on in the live. I've got a meeting or a Zoom meeting at 9:30, so we'll get going now. We'll probably do an hour and a half for an hour and 15 minutes. You know, this is my last few days in the studio. This is it. The removal companies are coming on Friday morning to take everything. So we're only going to be here for another 4 or 5 days. That's it. And hopefully we get the one set up in my studio in my house very, very quickly. Hopefully we get that done. I'm not quite sure what the Wi-Fi situation is. I don't know if it will be strong enough to do a live, but we'll get the videos done regardless. So yeah, last few days here. It's been fun being here. I've been here just over a year. I've learned how to control mics and cameras and shit. So it's been a fun experience. All right, let's jump straight in to the questions and the comments, and we'll get as many done as we always do. You know, we normally go for about 200. Let's see if we can beat that today. Is that Isa Majid? Hey Addy, how would a prime GGG do against the four kings of the middleweight? Four kings of the middleweight? When you say four kings of the middleweight, are you referring to Hagler, Hearns, Duran? Is that what you're talking about? Hagler, Hearns, Duran, Leonard? Not sure. Not sure. Like, all of those give him tough nights, but understand that Golovkin's, I think, one of the greatest middleweights of all time. Like, I think it goes like the three. I can't separate are Hagler, Bernard Hopkins, and Monzon, and then I think GGG's right there. So who knows, right? Who knows? Ahija Selassie says, "Good evening, Ade. Let's ignore the football. Yeah, let's ignore it. What do you make of everyone avoiding Regis, especially Teo ducking him? They're not ducking. The fighters don't really duck like that. It's all about money. If the money's right, they'll take the fight. Fighters are fighters. They're a different breed. When you're around them, you kind of see it a bit more. If the money's right, they'll take it. Like, Teo's not scared of Regis Prograis. I think there is an issue in terms of the percentage and the split. But look, to be honest, if I'm Teo, that's not the fight I take next. Teo didn't look great against Sandor Martin, but he certainly isn't ducking Regis Prograis. No. Regis obviously struggling to get a fight. He'll get one. He'll get one. Someone will take the split, but right now, he might have to, honestly, it might have to be a 50-50 split, something stupid. What's this one? What's next for Yarde? I'd love to see him in against Buatsi, boxer versus puncher. Both of them are punchers. I'm not quite sure who you think is the boxer and the puncher there in that equation. Both of them are punchers. Buatsi can hit as well. Obviously, we know Yarde can hit, but both of them, go and look at their knockout record. Both of them can hit hard. Look, I'd like to see it. I'm not quite sure. Buatsi, obviously, in the BT Sports Studios yesterday. Is Frank Warren and Queensbury making a play for him? Is he still with Matchroom and DAZN? Is he going to go to Boxer? Don't have a clue. Obviously, we haven't seen him in the ring since the Craig Richards fight. I don't know if he's injured. No idea what's going on with Buatsi. It's a shame because I do want to see him active. I want to see Buatsi fight. But right now, I'm not quite sure. It's almost like every light heavyweight in and around him is doing something apart from him. So he needs to get a move on regardless. Ade, I'm guessing Box Park Wembley is bigger than Box Park Shoreditch. Do you think Wembley would be a better choice for the meet and greet at 50,000? That's the aim, by the way. I don't know if you guys know what he's referring to. We have just got to 40,000 subscribers. Thank you very, very much. I did say we're going to do a meet and greet when we get to 50,000. If you guys are up for it, I'll do it. I'll do the meet and greet. Box Park Wembley and Box Park Shoreditch have actually reached out to me. They've got a couple of boxing guys in there. They've reached out to me and asked me to do it there. So We'll do it in one of them. I'm not quite sure what yet or where, but we will do it. Adam Green, Ade, I absolutely love you, mate. It's nice. Seem like such a cool guy and love all your content. Keep up the good work. I will. Appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. It's nice. Soldier Boy says, hope you will have a celebration drink tonight, Ade, for hopefully reaching your 40,000. Congratulations. Keep up the great work. No celebration drink. No. I am doing a dry January. We're doing a dry January. I've only got a couple of days left, so we'll wait. We'll wait. But yeah, hopefully, I think we're on like 39,000, sort of 990 or something. So we're only a few away. But again, look, I can't thank you enough for everyone that subscribed, people that jump on the lives, people that comment on the videos, share the videos, like the videos. It's all a collective effort. So thank you very much. Leaderboard guy, as well as Yarde did, he still got beat. And the only 2 times he hit the canvas, he had the look of, I don't want to carry on, help me. So do we really think he'll fight Buatsi Aziz? Yeah, of course he would. I mean, it's who you get beat by and it's how you perform. I feel like just saying he got beat and he hit the canvas doesn't tell the story of the 8 rounds. I watched it back. I watched highlights this morning, then I watched a full fight again about an hour ago. Yarde done very, very well in that fight. Honestly, he made Beterbiev jump in a few times and dive in. He had that wonderful check left hook, which caught Beterbiev. He landed a couple of really good right hands. He done well, but ultimately he's in there against pound for pound top 8. He's in there against a killer. 19 fights, 19 wins, 19 knockouts. No one has been able to stand up to Beterbiev. So there's no shame in losing to that kind of guy. If you lose to like a European champion or a British guy, then okay, yes, you can question it, but you've lost to the best. I have no problem in how he lost and him losing. Karma Serene, the new goal was 50,000. Yes, ma'am. We're trying to get it. We're trying to get it. Evening Ade, enjoyed Yarde fight. I think the power of Beterbiev was inevitable. I know Buatsi is your boy, honest on how Yarde Buatsi. Why do people say things? Buatsi is my boy. Why is Buatsi my boy? Honest and how Yarde Buatsi plays out. Do you have any knowledge on why Buatsi's career is stalled? It's funny that you say Buatsi's my boy when I think if you guys watched the Craig Richards face-off I did with Buatsi and Richards, Buatsi literally goes at me for going at him on a video. So I don't really do that boy stuff. If I think a fight is slipping or a fight is, I will talk regardless. I've done that with AJ. I've done, and you're not going to get no more closer boy than AJ to me. So yeah, I know Buatsi, but certainly isn't sort of my boy. He's just a fighter that I respect. I've always said that Buatsi would beat Yarde. I've always said that, but then you do have to look at what they've done recently. Buatsi back and forth with Richards. Yarde doing very well against Beterbiev. I think it's a very, very good fight. It's a 50-50 scrap for me. Both of them can punch. I think Buatsi's the better boxer. I'm not quite sure who's the fresher of the two. But look, I mean, you look at their resume and you would argue that I guess Buatsi's got the better wins than Yarde. Not saying Yarde couldn't beat guys like Bolotniks and Richards, but his biggest win is Lyndon Arthur. I guess that's the shame with Buatsi. With Yarde. Like Yarde's definitely capable of some career high wins. I think we saw it. Like Yarde could easily be European champion. Callum Smith knocked out the European champion in Saudi Arabia. Yarde could have knocked him out as well. But because Yarde does Kovalev lose, Beterbiev lose, we have no idea where he is. Like, could Yarde beat a Joe Smith? Could he beat a Marcus Brown? I don't know. I mean, could he knock out a Jean Pascal? Should be able to, but we don't know. But yeah, it'll be a good fight. Hi, Ade. Hope you're good, bro. A great live stream last night. Good consistency. Who do you think would win, Yarde or Buatsi in the summer? Now does Yarde rebuild his name in his next 3 fights? I just kind of answered how I think the fight will play out. It's difficult. It really is. Next 3, I just want Yarde. You know what? I want Yarde to go on a holiday, relax, but get straight back in there against a top 15 guy. One thing about Yarde is like the drop-off is too big. You can't go A level, then go D, and then A, and then D. Like, at least go to B or C. Like, the drop-off's too much. So hopefully, Tunde and the team and Frank Warren come together and say, okay, let's go for this. You're 31. Let's go for it. Beterbiev's 38. He's going to be gone soon. Let's go for it. Like, let's wait. Just when Beterbiev says, you know, enough's enough and vacates or whatever he wants to do, retires, you should be right there for those vacant belts. Let's see. Let's see. This one, Kayoshi says, we need a round robin of the British light heavyweights. It will be a travesty if Buatsi, Aziz, Yard, Callum Smith, Richards, Arthur, all them fight each other at some point. Yeah, I think, to be fair, of all those names, the one that I'm scared of the most in terms of getting opportunities is Aziz. Arthur's had the Yard fight, so he's had those fights. Buatsi fought Richards. Smith will get those fights because Smith's mandatory for the WBC title that Beterbiev holds. Aziz is my fear. Aziz needs a great fight, man. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing Aziz Richards. Richards obviously was supposed to fight Bolotnik, so I wouldn't mind seeing that. Or Aziz Yard. The big problem, I guess, with Aziz, Yard, and Richards is that all three of those guys are on different promotions: Sky, Queensbury, and Matchroom. So yeah, not quite sure. What's this one? Loving the consistency in your work. I know I give you grief sometimes all the fucking time, but you're a legend. You and Adam Cattrall would be a great collaboration if it ever happens. Adam Cattrall is incredible. Adam Cattrall is incredible. I've been a big fan of Adam way before I worked with him. I like the fact that he's a bit like me in the sense that Adam Cattrall can talk about numerous sports. Like, honestly, you'll talk about the UFC, MMA, and knows it like the back of his hand. He'll talk football on Talk Sport. He'll do obviously the boxing for Talk Sport as well. Fight Disciples is an incredible podcast with him and Nick Pete. Like, you aren't going to get guys like him and Nick that are so knowledgeable about 2 or 3 sports that they literally know everything that can be known about boxing, MMA, and football. And you've got to respect that. You've got to. What's this one? Add a final one before I sit back and enjoy the live stream. Found it really strange. A DAZN fighter on the panel last night. Did Eddie allow Buatsi to do that? Buatsi can do what he wants. Like, Eddie doesn't. This isn't like they're not under like UFC contracts where they can't go. I mean, fighting's one thing, but in terms of going to places, they can go where they want. But I'm like you. I was very, very surprised to see him on it. I knew he was going to be on it before, so it kind of didn't shock me like that. But yeah, very, very surprised. Like, I have no idea what's going on with Buatsi. I don't know if is his Matchroom contract up? I mean, does he have any fights left? Is he renegotiating? Is he just almost teasing and Eddie watches that and then Eddie makes a bigger offer? Like, I have no idea what's going on. Yeah, it's been a strange, I think, couple of years for Buatsi. Love him as a fighter, but I just want to see him in the ring. And right now, we haven't done much of that, have we, recently? Scott Rigby, loved the live last night. At a Yard needs to stay at world level now, but it'll probably rematch Dex Spellman at fight 2 unknown Latvians, then box Bivol next summer. Proper Frank Warren rebuild style. Isn't Frank, it isn't Frank. I think this is the common mistake that a lot of people have with these fights. Everyone thinks, oh, it's Eddie, or everyone thinks it's Frank, or everyone thinks it's Ben Shalom. It's not. It's the managers and the matchmakers. Don't get me wrong. Frank and Eddie will have their say, but ultimately it's the managers, the matchmakers, and sometimes even the broadcasters, because they're the ones that pay for the fights that dictate what goes on in terms of matchmaking. It's very rarely the promoters. Sometimes the broadcasters who pay for the fights will say, no, I'm not paying for that. It has to be that person. No, not doing that. I wish I might. I don't know if it's possible for me to get someone in to speak on this a bit more, but it'd be nice to get someone from DAZN or whatever to speak on this a bit more, because I do feel like Eddie gets a lot of stick, or even Frank gets a lot of stick when it comes to matchmaking and putting on fights. Most times it ain't them doing it, honestly. Where are we? There we are. We're back. What's this one? PGMC. Based on your personality and what you know about individual training techniques, camps, etc., which boxing coach do you think you'd personally gel best with if you were a boxer? Joe McNally, who trains Liam Smith. Love him. I love the fact that it's not about him. And this is not a dig at any other boxing sort of trainer, but he's almost in the shadows, working, grinding. He doesn't want to be interviewed. It's not about the Joe McNally show. I do feel like a lot of these trainers sometimes make it about them. And I'm like, well, one second. It's about me, the fighter. So yeah, Joe McNally, I think I do like him. 2 secs. John Cahill, even that day, another great watch along. Might retire from watching boxing. Doesn't get better than last night. Yeah, you know what a great fight. I'm surprised that we haven't had many questions about it. I'm sure there will be. Which what a great fight. Like we expected Yarde to go for it, didn't we? And credit to him, he went for it. There was a couple of times when he's inexperienced, maybe let him down a little bit. But ultimately, look, he gave Beterbiev all he could handle. But Beterbiev's a fucking brick, man. He's a brick. He's a brick. One thing Yarde said, which I thought was very interesting, he said, like, you get other champions that, have easy world title shots. He's had Kovalev in Russia and then Beterbiev. I mean, what the you can't get any harder than that, can you? The light heavyweight division for years has always been one of the toughest divisions to win a belt in. Like you go back 10 years, Adonis Stevenson. Do you know what I mean? Chad Dawson. Super bad Chad Dawson. You had to get a belt off that. Do you know what I mean? Andre Ward was around as well at the time. And then obviously what you've got now. Even other fighters like Tavoris Cloud, it was pretty decent. It's always been a tough division to win a belt. And yeah, there's been some guys, but most times you're having to beat someone of real high caliber. Bernard Hopkins. It's not easy at all. Sam R says, even at it, hope all is well. From Yarde's performance yesterday, would you agree he belongs at that higher level? Yes, absolutely belongs there. But I will say this though, like I'm not going to say it's easy. So please listen to what I'm going to say before you jump on me. It's not that it's easy to go to world level, but it's a lot more difficult staying there. Like it's one thing having a fight at world level and doing well. Stay there for 10 fights. Do you know how difficult that is? Like you got to respect. That's why I always kind of, as much as people dig him, you've got to respect people like Carl Froch. Like whether or not you think he's a great boxer, he stayed there at world level for like 10 fights. World level, just stayed there every fight, back to back to back. Tough fight, world level guys, top 10 guys. So look, let's see if Yarde can stay there. Or is it a case of he has to drop down one and then go back again? That's the difficult thing. For fuck's sake, it's John. What percentage of a chance do you give Callum Smith against Beterbiev? 25%? Maybe just a slightly bit more than Yarde. And the only reason I give him a better chance or a higher percentage than Yarde isn't because I think he's better than Yarde. It's just because he's fought at a higher lick. That's all it is. He's been in big fights. He understands what it is to be in a big fight. He's won one, he's lost one, right? Obviously beat George Groves in a big fight, World Boxing Super Series final, lost to Canelo, but he's been in the big ones. So that's not going to phase him being there. So that's why I give him a better shot. He's just a bit more experienced. So, and look, I know Tony Bellew, I think, said that he thinks Callum Smith could knock him out. I'm speaking to Bellew a bit later. I don't think so, but we'll see. Super chat here from Isaac says, what does it say? A lot of weird narratives floating around, like Yarde exposed Beterbiev and Callum Smith KOs Beterbiev in 6. I mean, Johnson dropped him. People forgot. He had to dig deep versus Vosdick, Brown, etc. Yeah, this every time Beterbiev has a performance, there's always this, like, people really look into it and say, oh, that person's going to do him next time. I remember the Vosdick one. It was like, oh, well, he got exposed by a boxer. You watch next time. You watch what happens. Like, I will never, ever go against someone who is perfect. 19 fights, 19 wins, 19 knockouts. I'm sorry. I'm not going against that guy. Not going against him. So, yeah, the talk of Smith could beat him. Look, I understand the Bivol talk. Bivol's a world champion and Bivol's looked good in his last 2 fights, Canelo and Gilberto Ramirez. But anyone else, I'm not entertaining it. Not entertaining it. He will find a way because he's always found a way. He's fought every single style now. Fast guys, big guys, punchers, great amateur boxers. He's fought every single style and he's found a way to win. So don't bring a style to me and says he can't beat that. He can beat anything because he's beaten every style. So yeah, I'm not with the Callum Smith beats him narrative that I see floating around. Quick super chats here. Ade, big up your channel. Who is advising Ben? He's got his management team and he's got his lawyers. I don't know who his manager is. I'm not quite sure who his manager is. I don't want to shout out any names and they're not it. But yeah, man, yeah, I don't know answers on a postcard whether or not they're advising him correctly. But again, things like that, people shout that at Eddie like that's Eddie's advising. It's not. He's got his own management team, and some would say they're not advising him correctly. Troy Superstar Super Chat, appreciate it. My man says Yarde tried too late and limited. Beterbiev beatable, not dynamic. Prime Ward would take him out. Even Adonis, Bivol would beat him. Usyk laid the blueprint. Jeez, I don't understand where this narrative comes from. I don't understand. Prime Ward would beat him. Why do we say that? I saw Kovalev beat Prime Ward. I saw it. I scored that fight round for round. Again, as I just said, and hopefully you were listening, Troy. He's fought every style and won. So it's so easy. I think it's so easy to look at fighters like that and say, oh, yeah, you know what? There's a flaw there. I'm going to capitalize on it until you get in there with them. And then you realize this guy's a fucking machine. He's a machine. There's certain things he did yesterday in terms of the adjustments he made, that there was a time when he was walking into Yarde and falling into him. He kept on doing it. He done it twice, never did it again. Adjustments. There was a couple of times where Yarde came to him, span Yarde, got him on the ropes, landed that body and uppercut. He makes adjustments. Even the adjustment he made in the 7th round, the final minute of the 7th round, which basically laid the blueprint for the 8th round. Like, I think people are really underestimating how good this guy is. I really do. So this person beats him, that person beats him. I'm just not having that. Honestly, I'm not having it. Until someone does it, I'm not having it. I remember, I'm not comparing the two, by the way, but I remember when Floyd struggled against Castillo, Jose Luis Castillo, and maybe people thought Castillo won that first fight. Floyd won the rematch quite convincingly. Everyone was like, that's the style to beat Floyd. There you go, the blueprint right there. Unbeaten, brother. Stayed unbeaten. It's not that easy. Ain't that easy. All right, where are we? 2 secs. What's this one? Art Stanton, greetings from a cold and damp Washington, D.C. Dude, you could just replace that Washington, D.C. with London. It's cold, it's damp, it's everything. A lot of you guys saying, what's up, Ade? Thank you very much. What's up? Evening, Ade. Evening, Ade. Nice of you. What's this one? Big up Ade in the chat. Thank you very much. DJ says, Buatsi's career is really underwhelming. There are some good wins. You know what it is? I think it depends on what you expected from Buatsi. I expected a world champion. So for me, I'd say it's a bit underwhelming because of what I expected. If you didn't expect that, then it's a career. It's a decent career. But I expected, coming off the Olympics, 2016 bronze medal, just his aura. He's got this kind of 70s throwback style to him. I expected a world champion. He still might become that. But I kind of get it because my expectations for him was so high. Yin Yang Daz, Ade, what do you think regarding Golden Boy talking to Crawford? Keep it up. Yeah, it looks like that they're going to get that deal across the line. I saw Bernard Hopkins have an interview with Fight Hub, Marcus Villegas, that's how you say his name. And it pretty much seems like they're going to sign Crawford. I guess they're trying to sell Crawford maybe the Alexis Rocha fight, which I'm not quite sure if Rocha's ready for that yet. In fact, he's not ready for that yet. And I guess the Virgil Ortiz fight, and hopefully somehow with Oscar now having a relationship with PBC and Showtime because of Javonte Ryan, maybe they're thinking they're the ones that can make that fight. Maybe. Not quite sure. Charlie Carpenter, how you doing, Ade? Reckon last night was the best fight I've seen in person. Oh, you went there? Absolute war. What next for Yarde? Buatsi fight makes sense as it seems he's not with Matchroom anymore. Everyone asking about Buatsi. Yeah, look, I want that fight to happen. I actually said that fight should have happened instead of Yarde versus Beterbiev. That's the fight for me, because the winner then goes into the Beterbiev fight with so much confidence, because like the winner of Yarde Buatsi for me is a world level fighter. Do you know what I mean? So I would like to see it. I have a feeling it won't happen next. Buatsi's been out the ring for so long now, where I feel like he'll have not a gimme, but a kind of a warm-up fight before he takes on anyone. I still think Buatsi must be in with a shout for the Bivol fight. He must be. Bivol's not going to fight Beterbiev. Bivol's not going to fight Canelo next. You know, he should be there, right? He must be close, but man, I don't know. Matty says, what a fight. Wow, we all love boxing. Keep up the good work, Ade. Thank you. MT says, Big Depot pushing out all the content this year. I ain't playing. What's this one? Andrew Webb. Even that, I hope you're well. Shame about Yard last night. Yeah, shame he lost, but he's won so many new fans. I've a few American guys that really dislike the UK boxers because they think they're a bit boring and straight up were reaching out to me saying, "Yo, this Yard kid good." So I think he won a lot of new fans. I'm happy he didn't get hurt. I felt like if that fight was to go on, if Tunde didn't jump up and stop it and that fight goes on, remember, because it happened quite early in the eighth round, if that fight goes on another 45 seconds, a minute, then, it could have been a disaster. So, yeah, I think he's won some fans. I think he showed that he's a good world level, fringe world level, but world level nonetheless fighter. So, yeah, it's not that much of a shame. Jay Jr. says, big up Ade, great live yesterday. Do you think Yard beats Buatsi based on last night's performance? No, I don't. I've always said, and I'm going to stick with it regardless of what have you done for me lately. I've always said that Buatsi wins that fight. Very, very close fight. Like very, very could go either way. But I do think Buatsi, they both got that dog in them. Both of them have that dog. Both of them have got a lot of punch power. I think Buatsi's maybe the better boxer. The amateur record tells me he's a better boxer. And you could argue and say Buatsi's beaten the higher level opposition. Obviously, Yarde's performed well against Beterbiev and Kovler, but in terms of that that win, Richards for me is better than Lyndon Arthur, and I think Bolotnik could be better than Lyndon Arthur as well. Just my opinion. I fully understand if anyone says Yarde. I do. I'm just, and have been for a long time, a bit of a fan of Joshua Buatsi. Obviously, I want him to fight, but I still am a fan of his. I see a couple of super chats. What's this one? Surprise Yarde fought square without defense. What the fuck? I don't think he did fight square. There were times when his feet did square up, but I think that's just because that's when he was in that corner. I mean, by the way, that him stuck in the corner gave me like heart palpitations. Like honestly, he couldn't get out of that corner. Like Beterbiev was landing, like even the punches on the gloves and on the wrist and the arms and the forearms must hurt from Beterbiev, and he couldn't get out. And that was his biggest problem all night. Like when he was center of the ring, I think his speed, or not just of hands, but even if his movement was causing Beterbiev some problems, not a lot, but some problems. But once he got in the corner and squared up a little bit, fucking hell, that was danger zone. Danger zone. Bivol will blow both away. Yarde, not elite, tried. So interesting how it just shifts. Bivol prior to Canelo, nobody's saying that. Nobody is saying that. And I will tell you this, that you're saying Bivol will blow both away. Don't like Beterbiev ain't no Canelo or Gilberto Ramirez. Like Beterbiev is the top dog in the division. No, look, Canelo's fantastic at 168. Gilberto Ramirez hasn't beaten anyone of note at 175. So I'm a big Bivol fan. Don't get me wrong. You guys saw Bivol give me the jacket, but I'm just trying to be like not wear Bivol tinted glasses. Like Beterbiev isn't Canelo. Beterbiev is certainly not Gilberto Ramirez. Beterbiev would run through Gilberto Ramirez, and Beterbiev would beat Canelo as well. So I don't know, man. I don't know about all this take of, Bivol would blow both away. I was there for both Bivol fights. I saw him up close. He's very, very good, but no one is blowing Beterbiev away. You must be crazy, Troy. You must be crazy. I love you, Troy, but you must be crazy. Lewis Moore, I hope you're good at it. All this talk of Callum Smith getting Beterbiev next, but who is he fighting in March? Yeah, it's interesting. He's. I think there's a date of March 11th. I wonder if they've gone back to the Lyndon Arthur conversation. It was supposed to be Lyndon Arthur. That was the one, and then all of a sudden it isn't happening. I wonder if they've gone back to that. I think people would accept that. I think what they probably won't accept is maybe an unknown name. Even if the guy is top 15, you prefer a domestic dust up, wouldn't you, to someone even ranked slightly higher than Lyndon Arthur? But we'll see. We'll see what plays out. I can tell you now, ain't Buatsi. Tell you that for free. Ain't Buatsi. All right, let's get back to the questions. Where were we? 2 secs. Where were we? Loads coming in again. Jesus Christ. 2 secs. This is a long one, guys. Oh, this is too long, dude. Jesus Christ. Deep random. All right, deep random thing. I'm going to read this one out now, but try and keep them simple. In 2023, would you rather have Usyk Fury plus shite fights or no Usyk Fury ever. But Joshua Wilder, Joyce Wilder, Beterbiev, Bivol, Crawford, Spence, Ennis. Well, obviously, no Usyk Fury. Come on, dude. Bad Sage, even that. Thanks for Saturday Night Live. I enjoyed it, my man. I enjoyed it. This is one that's gone under the radar a bit. Lewis Ritson versus O'Hara Davis. I don't know how I feel about this fight. Not quite sure. I need to go back and watch the last couple of O'Hara fights. I know he had a fight in Dubai, and that's kind of it. I haven't really followed his career since then. Lewis Ritson's been a bit up and down in terms of performances. I remember there was a time when you thought he was going to run through everyone. Remember at 135, it was like, wow, the Sandman, he just landed and just knocked people out. And he's kind of stalled. So I need to go and watch both of their performances to see where they are, but looking forward to it. Paul Moss, great effort by Yarde. Beterbiev is just the beast. Fingers crossed we get the unification next. Yeah, you know what? Even for as good as Yarde was doing, and he was doing well, it almost felt inevitable. Like I was watching it thinking, it's inevitable. I remember watching Carlos Takam, Joe Joyce. I was there for that one. I think that might have been Wembley Arena as well. I think it was Over Arena as they call it now. And Carlos Takam was landing fucking the biggest right hand you could imagine. It just felt inevitable though. And there was something about yesterday where as good as Yarde is doing and the work he's putting in and the body work, and I just thought, he's going to get him. He's going to get to him. He's going to. But look, not taken away from Yarde, but he just felt like he was going to get him. 786 Naf Ade, Yarde is a warrior and a world-class fighter. I thought it was an outstanding performance last night. His stock has risen. Props to both Yarde and Tunde. Yeah, can't add any more to that. I'm happy that you gave Tunde props as well. Tunde has kind of stayed silent in the last year. And I think it's good that he's done that. He's let his work do the talking. Not much work, some might say, but I think yesterday we kind of saw a very good Tunde in the corner. The advice was a lot better. The stoppage was perfect. It'll be interesting to see if Tunde gets a few more fighters underneath him. It'll be interesting to see because I know there was an Asian kid whose name skips me that he had, but I don't know if he's got any other fighters. Can't remember. Jordan Perry, even that, I hope you're good, mate. Wow, what a fight last night. Do you give Callum Smith a chance against Beterbiev? Certainly a chance, not the type of chance that Tony Bellew gives him, but I give him a 20-25% chance. But that's it. Nothing more than that. Nothing more than that. Yes, I'm going to answer this question already and say yes. Did they try to rob Beterbiev? How was he down on the scorecards? I don't know. I've watched the fight and it doesn't make sense to me either. Yarde had success in most of the rounds, by the way, but Beterbiev definitely done the better work in the rounds. Even the round where Yarde landed that amazing right hand and then he tried to jump on Beterbiev slipped him and then had him in a corner and started working. So I have no idea how Beterbiev was down in that fight. Yeah, we could have had a crazy decision. So in a way, kind of happy that it played out the way it played out because I didn't want anything more controversial when it comes to UK scorecards. Where are we? Ade, that green Chesterfield is class. Where's it from? I used to make these. People, but this one I just got from, where did I get it from? I think Hackney, 30 quid, something like that. Yeah, it's been with me for a while. Lee Jones, Yarde performed well, but I always seen him getting stopped. The levels were clear to see. I don't think the levels were clear to see. I'm trying to think. If you were unaware of who both were, so you just fucking landed from Mars, you're an alien from Mars and you turned up at that fight, I don't think you're watching that fight thinking there's levels between these two. I think you're thinking, that's a great fight. I don't know if you know, do you know what I mean? So I don't think we saw the levels between the two. Ultimately, Beterbiev won, but I think Yarde did incredibly well. Andrew Webb, feel frustrated for Yarde. People saying how brave he was, how he's world-class fighter. It just feels like we already knew Yarde was world level. We already knew he had heart from the Kovalev fight. No. Heart, yes. World level from the Kovalev fight, no. That was a Kovalev certainly on the way out, 100% on the way out. Wasn't like he fought fucking Kovalev that Nathan Cleverly fought or anything like that. I think we needed to see a lot more to know his world level. And let's not forget, after the Kovalev fight, he lost to Lyndon Arthur. So he certainly had to prove to me he was world level, and he proved it yesterday. I didn't know he was world level after the Kovalev fight. I didn't. Ryan Donnelly Boxing says, even that I hope all is well. Who you got, Garcia or Tank? Flash for me. Flash being Garcia. Tank. Yeah, I feel like Tank's gonna get him. It could be a bit like what I'm saying, where you feel like it's inevitable that Tank will get to him, a bit like that. But should be a good fight. All right, a couple of super chats will come in. Let me quickly scroll down to them, and then we'll go straight back. 2 6. I've read that one already. Okay, is this? I don't think I've read this one. Robbie Mitchell, thank you, Robbie. Congrats on the 40K, Ade. I think the way that Yarde conducted his post-fight interview was great. No excuses or complaints, and loved it. Have you guys seen it? He's in the dressing room with James Cook's there, Tunde's there, and the other guy that's always with him is there as well, part of the training setup. Just respectful, like funny. Gave Beterbiev his respect as well. That's how you do it. In a defeat, anyone watching that, in a defeat, obviously look very disappointed. He got stopped. He's going to be very bitterly disappointed. This would have changed his life completely, but showed a lot of respect there. And I like that. Yarde, I think, again, Yarde gained a lot of fans yesterday, not just for the performance, the way he conducted himself in the press conferences, everything. And then ultimately, the way he conducted himself in the post-fight interviews, really good. Really, really good. What's this one? Ade Prime Ward smokes Beterbiev. The first Kovalev fight, he just moved up to light heavy. Beterbiev relies on power, good jab and footwork, and hitting his belly. Jeez, dude, I can't, man, I can't believe you're saying he smokes him. Honestly, do you know? Like, I remember watching Andre Ward against, I think it was Sakio Bika. Remember that fight? And Sakio Bika is, I mean, technically just awful. Tough as nails, technically awful. Didn't smoke him. Beat him, didn't smoke him. Like, I can't. Look, I'm gonna look. Let's agree to disagree. By the way, I'm not saying Ward doesn't beat Beterbiev, because Ward's a great fighter and he'll find a way as well. But I'm telling you now, no one smokes Beterbiev. Like, I don't know how a fighter can be unbeaten and having fought top 10 guy after top 10 guy after top 2 guy, top 3 guy, top 5 guy, and run through them all, and you think someone smokes him. Like, I can't, I just can't agree with that. I can't. I want to, but I can't. I'm sorry. Like, no way. No way. A little more. Also, Ade managed to get a photographer's pass for fight week from Queensbury. Wouldn't have happened without the advice you've given me. Thank you. Well done. Well done. You know, there's a few people. I know a few YouTubers that reached out a couple of years ago that were there, that asked for advice, and were at that show as YouTubers. Like, well done to everyone, man. Like, there's room for all of us. There's room for all of us. Punch Perfect super chat in the building says, salute Ade, keep up the good work. Everyone is saying that you need to come down. Everyone, like, I put out something on my community tab, and I was like, I had G-Man on, who would you want to go on? And Punch Perfect, your name came up and it had like 20 likes. So message me. You might have to get down to the studio before I leave. Salute Ade, keep up the good work. I use the word inevitable too. Vosdik, Dinis, yeah, and Yarde boxed their asses off, but I never felt like they were going to win. That's pretty scary. Yeah, this kind of goes back to what someone said. Who was the super chat before? I can't remember who it was. Troy. When Troy said that that Bivol blows him away and Ward smokes him, like, Vosdik was boxing perfect. Like, it was almost like, oh my god, like, you go back after every round, I'm like, this is incredible. It got stopped. Not only got stopped, is not fought since. Yarde, this is a Yarde that we're saying, wow, Yarde's performance was wow, it was so good. Got stopped in the 8th round. I mean, Marcus Brown said, you know what, let's have a war. Marcus Brown said, let's have a war. He's tough, gritty American fighter. Got broken down. Like, he'll find a way. He'll find a way. All right, where are we now? Let's see. All right, let's go on this one. Reese Cooper. I I think Yarde did the best he could. It just wasn't good enough to beat Beterbiev. Yeah, it is. Yeah. This is a good question, and I don't have the answer to it, but it's a good question. Ade, what drives the consistent cycle of world-level fighters in the light heavyweight category from Russia? They seem to have dominated the division for time. It's not even just, it's just the influx of Eastern European fighters and like really high level Eastern European fighters. Like it's incredible. Honestly, it's like it's a conveyor belt of them just coming through. And they come with just this amateur, like this and when I say I mean solid amateur pedigree of like 200 plus fights. They turn over at 28, 29. I think Beterbiev said it yesterday in the interview, like he turned pro at 28 or 29. Like they're men when they turn pro, and then they just run through you. Like they're built differently. I think we're starting to see it in MMA as well. I'm not quite sure, man. I'd love to go and see how they train as like 9, 10, 11-year-olds and what they're doing, the drills they're doing, because I mean, they're producing some very, very special fighters. So not just like old USSR, basically, before it broke up. They're coming from everywhere. Judge's scorecard was suspect last night. Yeah, it was a bit, man, honestly. Baba Tunde is saying that Yarde definitely showed last night that he was world level and proved a lot of people that didn't believe he was at that level. That Yarde that fought yesterday versus Buatsi, who would win? As I said, yeah, I'm going to repeat myself. I think Buatsi gets it, but I fully understand if people are on the Yarde thing. I get that. I feel like we've not seen the best of Buatsi yet. Honestly, I feel like there's more to come. I feel like, remember, especially even with the Richards fight, I think that was his second fight under Virgil Hunter. I don't know if that relationship's going to work, by the way, but that was his second fight. Let's see him 3 or 4 more fights in that relationship. I think Buatsi's a good fighter, but wouldn't be surprised if Yarde got the job done. 2-6. What's happening with Taylor Catterall? Has there been an official announcement yet that it's been postponed? I think there has been. But remember, the WBO, I think it is, have said they need to see medical evidence, which I'm guessing Josh Taylor sent off. I think the fight's doomed. There's just some fights that are just doomed. It's a bit like Tony Ferguson, Khabib Nurmagomedov in UFC, injuries, like holds up. Like Jack, I understand Catterall wanting this shot, and I get it. But if I'm him, I've got to have a stay busy fight. You can't be out the ring for a year. You just can't be. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Ade, can we get a live UFC watch along for Edwards versus Usman, or are you at the event? I want to be at the event, but you know, I could do a live, but I do want to go to that one. I think that's a good one. Like, I really, really want to go to that one. And I'm hoping to go just because I might be there with TalkSport. Reason being, like TalkSport obviously have Adam Catterall, but Adam Catterall should be there for BT. Can't do 2 jobs at once. So hopefully I get sort of put in there. We'll see. Yeah, someone said this. I couldn't believe how expensive the UFC London tickets were. Yeah, they're crazy. And I think people have been telling me they're like 300-400 quid. It's ridiculous, isn't it? Ridiculous. CRB says, you're going to start doing lives on UFC cards. Well, if people are interested, yeah, I would 100% do it. 100%. 2-6. Where are we? 2-6 people. Brilliant fight last night. Yarde showed a lot of heart. Do you think if he had a couple of more fights versus higher ranked opposition or higher ranked opponents, before Beterbiev, he would have won? No, I don't. Sometimes there's 2 ways to look at this. When you fight high level opposition, obviously you get better, but they take a lot out of you as well. I mean, those higher ranked guys, you're in tough fights. You're in really, really tough fights. So there's a weird way in which his career has been managed. Like, obviously, because he's fought the lower level guys, Yarde is still fresh. Like, he's fresh, wasn't he? Imagine if he did fight sort of top 10 guys, like 3. Say he fought 2 top 10 guys, then fought Beterbiev. He could have been worn out. It could have been miles on the clock. So, no, I don't think so. I don't think it would have given him a bit more experience, but ultimately, he's in there against, You know what I mean? A light heavyweight great. Like that's who Beterbiev is now. He's a light heavyweight great. And you're always going to favor that guy, aren't you? I think so. What's this one? Hi, Adi Oladipo. I hope what I'm seeing about Kell Brook isn't true. If so, hope he gets help soon. Yeah, like obviously, look, there's a video going around, which clearly is Kell Brook, of him doing cocaine. There's two ways to look at this. People do cocaine. I've never touched a drug in my life, no intentions of touching drugs. But I know a lot of people that do cocaine, a lot of people. And as a kid, I remember as a kid, if I were told someone's doing cocaine, I would have called them a crackhead or a junkie. Completely different how I look at it now. I know people that are doing really good in life, like really good in life, lawyers, doctors. I know people that do cocaine. So if you do it in your home, when you're out, whatever, I don't have a problem with it. I don't. I think the issue with Kell Brook, there's two issues here. Number one, your circle of friends. I mean, how the fuck is someone filming you and putting it up? That's horrible. The biggest issue, I guess, for Kell is that Kell recently said he wants to fight again. Well, you're in no condition to fight if you're doing cocaine, dude. So I don't know if it's a case of he needs to get help. Obviously, look, doing that, I guess it can spiral out of control. But again, I know people that have been doing it for years and I don't look at them any different anymore. I'm just kind of used to it. I kind of used to look at them like, what are you doing? But now it's just what it is. Again, it's something I would never do, but it's just what people do. I think you'll be surprised as to how many people, like if you were to go into a room of 50, 18 to 40-year-olds, I think half of that room would either be doing cocaine or had done cocaine. I don't think it's as random anymore as it kind of felt like when I was a kid. Scott Rigby, loved the live last night, Addy. Yarde needs to stay at world level now, but he'll probably... Oh, I've read that one already. People, you don't need to put them in twice. I will get to them, I promise. Just an observation. The other day, someone was chatting about how many champs Matchroom has compared to other promotions, but didn't include Bivol, Canelo, and all the women champs Matchroom has. No. They're comparing British champs, British male champs that Matchroom has. I think it was myself. I said there are 5 current British world champions, and Matchroom has 1, Lee Wood. Now he's been elevated. But you're right. I do feel like people now need to realize that Matchroom, unlike Boxer and unlike Queensberry, it's a worldwide promotional company now. It's Australia, it's fighters in Spain and Italy, fighters in America and Mexico. So their operation in the UK might be getting caught up by Sky and Queensberry, but Matchroom is a world thing. It's not a UK thing anymore. And I feel like we as fans maybe haven't got around to the idea of that. What's this? What's happening with Buatsi? Eddie Hearn never mentioned him in his tweet after the fight. What tweet did he say? Oh, when he said Callum, yeah, because Callum Smith's mandatory. Callum Smith's mandatory, and he said the winner fights. What did he say? The winner fights Bivol undisputed. Yeah, don't know, but yeah, I'm not sure. You know what's going on. There's clearly something going on. It was very random for him to be there yesterday. Very random. And someone even put a photo up and said BT Sports Team, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? James Smith the first. By the way, thanks for all the content, Eddie. Thank you for the questions, my man. 2 secs. Rooney, AMUFC says, how advantageous is it to stay in the amateurs for as long as possible? It seems more lucrative to go pro earlier, but the guys with the longer amateur careers seem to have more long-term success. Yeah, it's a fine line, isn't it? Like we're seeing this Moses Atuma, 18, who's now turned pro, and I'm guessing the money on offer to turn pro was really big. That being said, a lot of the amateurs still get paid. Like Moses Atuma was sponsored by Frank Warren as an amateur, so you're getting some money. But I think you stay amateur at least until your mid-20s. I think so. You can still make a good run of it. Like even if you think about that, I mean, if you collect all those amateur accolades and that experience until you're 24, maybe you've still got a 10-year run as a pro. You've got a 10-year run as a pro, and if you're that good as an amateur, you'll be fast tracked anyway. I think we're seeing a lot of, like, I look at Campbell Hatton. And I'm like, why are you still not an amateur? Like, why have you turned pro? I don't get it, because you watch him box and you're like, well, you could still be fighting ABAs. You should be trying to get on Team GB. I mean, you should be trying to do these things. So for me, when you look at some of the best boxers fighting today, go and look at their amateur record and how many amateur fights they had. Go and look at, obviously Canelo's an exception, but go and look at Usyk. Even go and look at Shakur Stevenson. Javante Davis had a good amateur record. And then you look at the crazy ones like Usyk and Beterbiev and Bivol. Good amateur record, solid amateur, solid foundation. Not always the way, but I think it's the better way. What's this one? Mark McCoy. Good evening, Ade. I hope all is good. Wow, what a fight last night. Yarde did himself proud. Good sportsmanship, in my opinion. Yeah, it was very, very good. Yarde just needs to keep busy with B-level opposition. So when he does fight A-level opponents, it's not such a big step up. I doubt that he will do that. I guess the record in terms of his career will tell us that he's probably not going to do that. For me, I just don't want him to drop down too far. He doesn't need to. There isn't like a rebuild there. But we'll see. We'll see what Frank can do. We'll see if he can entice any of the other top names to come over. If not, there's a queue of really good domestic fights. There's Richards, who I think Matchroom would probably let go over and fight. There's Dan Aziz, who I think Boxer would let go over and fight. And then there's Buatsi, or even Callum Smith. There's loads. There's loads. Tony Organi says Yarde did well, but he kept throwing out of range and missing. Didn't really see much of that. I didn't see much of the missing. And I guess even the missing, at least it's a bit like a jab, right? Because most times your jab kind of misses, doesn't it? At least it keeps Beterbiev off you. But I didn't see much missing from Yarde. And look, I guess if you did see it, yeah, the missing will tire you out, wouldn't it? You're going to get tired. But sometimes, especially when he was on the ropes and in the corner, sometimes you just got to fucking close your eyes and throw. Honestly, you just got to throw. And maybe that's what you're referring to with regards to missing. Murphy B, great fight. But after seeing Beterbiev beat Yarde, I think that Bivol can beat him via majority or split decision, but only if he doesn't get caught in the corners as Yarde did. There you go. That's more like it. That's more sensible. Not that Bivol blows him away. Split decision or majority. Yeah, I'm with that. I am with that 100%. Like Bivol by majority or split, with it. I will tell you this though. There's going to be a time where Bivol just has to engage. There's going to be a time where he has to engage, and that's going to be interesting. But Bivol's feet are so beautiful. The way in which he moves is so, it's like he fucking glides across the ring. But I will tell you this now, Beterbiev's way of cutting you off. Yarde didn't go willingly into that corner. He cuts you off where you feel like you have no exit and he was stuck in the corner. So it's going to be so interesting how Bivol's boxing ability and Beterbiev's way of just making sure there are no pockets to exit, how that kind of clashes. Ooh, let's hope it happens. I see a couple of Bivol will school him. Remember when Adonis Stevenson wiped out Chad Dawson in one round? I do. Jesus Christ, I do, man. Bloody hell. Am I right in thinking, my brain is a bit frozen here, but am I right in thinking it's Vosdik was the fight that hurt Adonis Stevenson? I think I am. Again, not that 1 + 1 = 2, but if it is Vosdik, it shows the levels of Beterbiev, considering what then Beterbiev done to Vosdik. But I think I could be wrong, but I do think it was Vosdik. James Smith, Ade, who wins, a prime Kovalev or a prime Beterbiev? Kova. I'm a massive Kovalev fan. Massive. Woo. Remember when he fought Nathan Cleverly, and Nathan Cleverly said it was like getting hit with a sledgehammer. Imagine that feeling. Like, obviously, a bit of hyperbole, a bit of an exaggeration from Nathan Cleverly, but imagine that feeling. Like someone's punching you, and you're just like, this is just what kind of power is this? Kovalev was the boogeyman of boxing for about 3-4 years. The boogeyman. Honestly, what a fighter he was. What else we got? Luke _1999. Hope you're all adding, my bro. Not too far away from Wood Lara now. Buzzing for that fight. I think Lou can get the W. Yeah, it feels like it's been ages, man. I think the last one I did, or DAZN Matchroom did over here, was Josh Warrington. Am I correct? Was it Josh? It was Josh, right? That's ages ago. That's ages ago. Yeah, it was. Same day England played France. That's a long time ago. So no shows in January over here. And this one coming up. So I feel like everyone might be a bit rusty, but yeah, really looking forward to. Atmosphere is going to be crazy. Good little run for British boxing right now. Do you think Beterbiev was in any trouble last night at all? Ade, AJ's hat, you're funny. Do I think he was in trouble? Not trouble, no. I do think that he felt the power and kind of went back a couple of times. I never saw his legs buckle or him kind of fall onto the ropes. So I wouldn't say he was in trouble, but he definitely knew he was in a fight. Yeah. To sex. Ade, who got winning the two main events this weekend in New York City? Remember, Serrano and Baumgardner are both fighting. I've got to go with two of my favorite female fighters, Serrano and Baumgardner. It's a shame that Baumgardner's not fighting Choi, because I still think, look, I think she would run through Choi, if I'm honest with you, but there is still going to be that, well, you didn't beat the real champion. And I've said, based, I really want to see Baumgardner versus Serrano. I actually think that's the fairer fight. I know there's still this Taylor fight, lingering over with Serrano, but I want to see Baumgardner versus Serrano. There's only, 4 pounds between them, so it's fairer. And both killers. That'd be a good fight. But yeah, Serrano, Baumgardner all day. Johnny Gaffer says, I'm sorry, I can never get over that Smith performance against Canelo. Yeah, he's a bit different now, though. He's a bit different now. Remember that was under that wasn't under Buddy McGirt. I think Buddy McGirt's made him a lot more aggressive now. So him getting bullied like that and being put on the ropes ain't happening again. He's really big. He's filled out at the 175 weight class as well. I stood next to him. I was obviously at the press conference for Liam Smith versus Eubank, and I interviewed him. Massive, honestly, just a massive human being and a lot more aggressive. So don't judge him on that performance. Like, if he were to fight Canelo again, it would be a lot better. I'm not saying he would win, but it'd be a lot better. What's going on? My phone is flying off the handle. Why? Let's quickly put it down. What's this one? Callum Smith would get destroyed by Arthur. He won't even beat Craig Richards. I think I would have Smith a favourite over Richards. I think Richards ain't gonna like me for saying that, because Richard feels like he doesn't get the respect he deserves. But I think I'd have Smith favourite over Richards. Be a good fight though. Be a very good fight. I wonder if that's happening. That would be good, right? Cy H says, Big Depot, Green Chair, live chat Sundays are back. Yeah, I think we've done the last 4 Sundays, I believe. We are back on a Sunday though, 100%. Useful Idiot says, do you think Kell Brook has overstepped the line? No, I don't. I mean, he's taken cocaine. That's it. And I'm not trying to downplay recreation drugs. Again, I've never taken drugs in my life, but people do. And no doubt everyone on this chat probably knows someone that does, or at least someone that knows someone. Everyone does it. I guess the only problem is he still wanting to fight? If he's still wanting to fight, then yes, there's a bigger problem. But if it's just a case of he's at home taking cocaine, doesn't affect me, doesn't affect you, don't see a problem with it. To sex, guys. I just saw so many questions again. Jeez, I do apologize. I feel like I'm never ever going to get to all these questions. There's literally hundreds, but I do want to get to the super chat. Deep Random Thinker, who would win between the two OG monsters of their division? GGG, the prime version who broke Kovalev in sparring with 16-ounce gloves, or Beterbiev? Beterbiev. I mean, I love Golovkin. I love him, but one's 160, one's 175. And I know what you mean about he beat or broke Kovalev in sparring, supposedly broke his ribs. I have no idea where Kovalev was at the time of sparring, in terms of, was Kovalev just coming off the couch? Was he a bit overweight? Was Golovkin prime, ready to go? I'm always going to go with the monster that weighs 15 pounds more, always. So yeah, I'll go Beterbiev all day long. Far too big far too. I've stood next to Golovkin, even when Golovkin was fighting at 168. He's not a big guy. Beterbiev's massive. Don't know how he makes one. So think about it. He fought. I know heavyweight's different in the amateurs, but he fought as a heavyweight in the amateurs. For Usyk, he's too big. He's too big. Where are we? 2-6. What's this one? Okay, when you consider the difference in experience between Yarde and Beterbiev, it's remarkable how well Yarde did. Yarde has had 37 fights, amateur and pro, and Beterbiev has had 319. Yeah, he did do very well, honestly. 319 though can put the miles on your clock. Can put your miles on the clock. So Yarde definitely came into that ring a lot fresher. A lot fresher. I have no idea, by the way, as well, how Yarde makes 175. Don't make sense to me. Does not make sense. He's so thick, like so thick and dense muscle as well. No idea how these guys do it. What's this one? Briz Toz. Beterbiev showed, I think you're saying showed their superior class last night, quickly changing styles to adapt to a dangerous, although 2D fighter. The only fight I want to watch is against Bivol. Yeah, Beterbiev, I think people are not giving him credit for that. Beterbiev made a couple of adjustments in that fight, very important ones. Yes, he got caught. You're going to get caught. You're in a big fight. But he made a couple of adjustments there, which made the difference. Like that little spin off he did every time Yarde tried to rush him. Fantastic. Never, ever fell over his feet again like he did in the first couple of rounds. Smart. JB, I haven't seen this fight. Rocha was very underwhelming last night. Would be a terrible idea to put him in against Bud. Yeah, I didn't watch it. Although remember, the guy he fought was a last-minute replacement. He had been sparring and preparing for someone else, but yeah. Reece Scott, take nothing away from Yarde. He did well, but Yarde is not elite. Questions once again on Tunde. Is he the right trainer for Yarde? No questions on. Why questions for Tunde? What didn't he do that upset you? Like, if there's questions, you need to give me. Reece, come please. What did he do that wasn't up to scratch? I thought his corner advice was good. I thought he told Yarde what to do and Yarde delivered on those things. Put a bit more pressure on, throw your jab, double up on your punches. Yarde did all those things and he stopped the fight when the fight needed to be waved off. I don't see what he did wrong. I don't. Thoughts on Atuma, potential world champ. Don't know much about him, but there's so much hype around him. Potential world champ's almost impossible to ask because we saw him for 15 seconds yesterday, so it's impossible. We'll say this though: those 15 seconds were a good 15 seconds, but I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. He's only 18, and I know they're trying to do this Mike Tyson record of him becoming a world champion before he's 21, and I mean, there are loads of guys out there that are young that can hit and they're good. So I don't know. I will say this though: look, in 2-3 years' time, there's going to be no AJ, there's going to be no Joe Joyce, there's going to be no Usyk, no Fury, no Wilder, no Usyk. There's going to be a lot of heavyweights gone, loads. So there could be a clear path. You never know. Ade, what's the difference between your new studio and this one you're in? Nothing. The new studio is just in my house. So basically, I'm just going to have this set up in a room in my house. That's all it is. I'm moving apartments next week. And I went there and surprise, they had a nice little room. And I was like, well, this could be my studio. So that's all it is. And the hope for me is that I can just do more videos because obviously this isn't my house and I've got to come here. And yeah, it's some, like, you guys won't notice, I've got a lot of soundproofing on, but I can hear music in the background. There's loads of studios in this building and it gets really loud sometimes as well. So I just want to get back to filming in my front room, if I'm honest with you. What's this one? Is from Edward Ricketts. Is everyone forgetting the way Buatsi was seething with Eddie Hearn after his post-fight interview? It felt like he was pretty much giving him an ultimatum of Bivol or bust. I did that interview. I did it. It was me in the ring. I don't remember that. Actually, no, you are correct. I do remember him saying something about I want a world title next. You are correct. I don't know if the word seething is a bit too much, but you are correct. He did say that. 2 secs. Good point, Mr. Edward Ricketts. Good point. Mark says, I finally made a live. Appreciate and enjoy all your videos, Ade. Thank you very much, Mark. Thank you very, very much indeed. What's this one? T, hi, Ade. I think Yarde needs a new trainer and he's just a step away from being a world-class fighter. Footwork and movement needs improvement. Look, I don't know what trainer is going to be able to bring that in him. Again, I think someone said in one of the sections just now that he's only had 37 fights. So think about this. Think about how good of a boxer he looked yesterday, and bear in mind that was a guy that came to Tunde with what 10 amateur fights or something like that. Was it 12? So Tunde has improved him so much. I think we're being way too harsh on Tunde again. I really do. What's this one? I think Bivol absolutely dominated Beterbiev. You think Bivol would absolutely dominate? Then okay. Look, I mean, I'm a Bivol fan. If he does it, fantastic. But no one's gonna dominate Beterbiev. Like, what's up with you people? What is up? Go and watch all of Beterbiev's fights. You're not gonna dominate this man. You're not dominating this guy. What have you seen to suggest? Like, was Bivol that super special against Canelo and Ramirez? I'll say it again. Beterbiev would run through Ramirez, stop him, knock him out. Beterbiev will probably finish Canelo. It's too big, too strong. Like, you're making me stutter, man. You're making me stutter. Ade, what can I say? Worth the bet. £50 would have given me 370. There was a weird hype about the fight. Yarde had more experience, his power and his confidence. It wasn't to be, but his day will come. Hopefully he gets an opportunity. I don't know if his day will come in the light heavyweight division as being a world champion. I mean, but you never know. 2 secs. Oh, this is interesting. Brian Newton, Ade, I don't like the Franklin fight for Joshua. He's a Ruiz type character. Are we saying that because of his physique? Still not been announced. I've done a video on it. Everyone's done videos on it. We haven't heard an announcement yet. I wonder if there's still some issues behind the scenes. There always seems to be when it comes to these big boxing matches. But look, if AJ doesn't beat him, then, or if AJ doesn't look good doing it, then obviously there's bigger problems behind the scenes than I thought there were. But I think AJ is going to look really good. Low-key beats. This fight exposed Beterbiev vulnerability into a different dimension. I see Bivol taking advantage of this. Yarde was more fatigued than hurt. Yarde was more fatigued than hurt. Did you not see the right hand that put him down? That's not fatigue. That's hurt. Like, and understand fatigue as well. Like, you say fatigue, like that's not Beterbiev's work. Beterbiev's forcing the pace. Fatigue on Yarde is a tick for Beterbiev. Like, if I'm a fighter and I'm making you work and you're out of breath, that's not a slight on you as my opponent. That's a positive for me. I'm making you work. I'm forcing the pace. So that's my tick. So give Beterbiev that credit. Like, he's making Yarde tired. And dude, I'll give you the fatigue one against Kovalev. There is absolutely no way I can give you the fatigue one against Beterbiev. Like, that right hand would have took down a fucking house. Honestly, come on, man. There's too much Beterbiev slander on this timeline, and I'm not even a Beterbiev fan like that. There's far too much. There's more than one way to skin a cat. I feel like people have become obsessive about, like, there's only one way to get the job done. It's clearly not. You can be destructive and get the job done, or you can be slick and get the job done. I don't mind either. A lot of the what we got here. Matt Llewellyn says, Ade, love seeing you everywhere lately. I know a lot of people hate it, but love the real boxing insight you give on Misfits cards. Also, watching it again, I think the stoppage was slightly too early. Okay. I have to admit, when I watched it yesterday live, I thought, oh, what's going on? It's a bit early. I watched it again. I know what you mean. Just because Yarde looked like he was about to just release everything. Yarde looked like he was waving him on and about to say, come on. But Beterbiev is such a dangerous and spiteful finisher. Such a dangerous inspire. Like, you can never stop a fight too early, but you can always stop a fight too late. I would always go with stop it early, then stop it late. Do you know what I mean? So you've got that decision to make. We've seen fights been stopped too late, and unfortunately, they have their consequences. So I'd rather it be stopped early and everyone say, wow, it was too early, than the opposite. Good question. Major K. Dot saying like and subscribe. Yeah, 600 of you in there. Like and subscribe. Jesus Christ, it's already an hour, 10 minutes done. Guys, we've literally only got 10 more minutes. I've got a Zoom call. All right, where are we? Shahid Ahmed says, love Beterbiev. He will be missed when he retires. He's given me so many exciting nights. And I think he just seems to be a cool cat as well. Like, seems to be a cool guy. I like him. I really like him. And let's hope, because look, at 38, he's going to slow down. He might be slowing down now. Let's hope we get it this year, him, Bivol. So there are no excuses. What I don't want is for him to be 39 going on 40, then get the fight. And then it's like, well, he kind of passed it. He's still very good now. Let's kind of do this one now. The issue is, where is it going to take place? Top Rank, ESPN, Matchroom, DAZN. That's the problem. That's the problem. Jordan Perry says, how do you see Wood versus Lara going? Because I think very potential for Wood to be badly knocked out. Yeah, the potential's there. Lara, we know, can go, right? But Wood can go as well. Wood's a big puncher in that division. It's not going points. I think that we know. But I mean, look, Wood's Wood's definitely got the capabilities. I mean, you don't stop Zhu Can. You certainly don't stop Michael Conlan unless you're very, very good. But Lara seems to be a boogeyman for everyone. So, yeah, it's going to be tough. But I think Wood's certainly got a chance. And in front of his sort of adoring Nottingham Forest fans as well. Yeah. Roadbox TV. Beterbiev is starting to look old. Yes, he's a beast, but the beast is slowing down. Bivol takes him out on cuts before round 8. Oh, this is just crazy. I can't even entertain this anymore. I really can't. I can't entertain this anymore. You know what is the worst thing for me is that I hate when someone wins a fight of a high magnitude and people start to dissect the win. A win's a win. Get that W and move on. Yeah, like, I feel like what we're doing by doing this, I feel like we're taking credit away from Yarde. Yarde is tough, man. He's strong, fast hands, fast feet, good punch power. And I feel like we're not giving both credit. We're saying Beterbiev looks old because Yarde had some spots. Give Yarde the credit for making those spots. I feel like what we're doing is maybe taking credit away from Yarde by doing this take. That's my own observation. Paul Adams, Saturday Live was good at it. Thank you. Not keen on this narrative that Yarde is now worldly. Brave, yes, but no way Yarde was winning. And Spencer Oliver needs to rein it in. Did Spence say that? Was that what he was doing on TalkSport? Yeah, I haven't seen or heard the coverage. I get that. I get that, Paul. I understand that, and I said this as well. Like, we need to see him, like, sort of stay at world level before we can give you that world level tag, right? But I think we saw enough yesterday to know that he can compete with all the world level guys. Can he beat them all? Don't know, but he can certainly compete. Sol Goodman says, hi, Ade. Hope I think you're saying well. Don't think Yarde would have won another round. Beterbiev was turning the screw. Yeah, Beterbiev, that round 7, end of round 7, go and watch it. Round 8, Yarde came out with a little flurry, 30 seconds, but then Beterbiev just, again, the step backs, the counters, mean dude. I thought the ring looked a bit small, by the way, yesterday. That's what I thought. This is interesting. Levels were clear to see. I'm guessing you're trying to insinuate that Yarde is sea level, maybe. Okay says, do you think Dan Aziz is overlooked? People don't really mention him in the same breath as other British light heavyweights. I don't know if he's overlooked. I think that he just needs an opportunity. It's kind of a bit like Craig Richards. Craig Richards was overlooked as well until he got the Buatsi opportunity. Until you fight someone, one of your peers, you're going to be a little bit. You're going to be. He needs to fight someone. Look, he CV's good for British level. He needs to take that jump. And it's up to Ben Shalom, who seems to be signing everyone. So the money's there, right? He's gonna give Billy Joe Saunders 100 grand. We heard it. Make a fight for Dan Aziz. Give him someone. Adam D says, Ade, what mic are you using? I'm using a Shure SM7B. It's the Joe Rogan mic. It's being powered by something called a Focusrite. So that's what it's being powered by right now. But yeah, when I do my one-on-one videos, so the videos I film with my iPhone, I power the mic via a Rodecaster. I'll when I get to the new place, I'll show the whole setup, but you just learn as you go along. You learn what pieces to get. I've actually got 4 of these mics. They're the best mics you can get in the business. Very, very good. 2 secs. Where are we? A lot of you are asking me this question. I don't know. Honestly, this one I really don't know. Like normally when I say I don't know, I actually do know, but I can't tell you. This one I genuinely do not know. I don't know. 2 secs. Good question. How big is Usyk in the UK? Could he fill a stadium on his own, regardless of opponent? No chance. No, there's only a couple of stadium fighters in the world, let alone in the UK. So no, he couldn't. Do an arena. Usyk could definitely do an arena. I think that he's that popular. I don't think it'll be regardless of the opponent. He'll need to fight someone of note, but he definitely has a fan base. Well, I think 10 to 15,000 will turn up. Mark McCoy says, Ade, have you fixed the arm on the green chair? Nope. Long time sub here. I remember the nights balancing the cups, glasses. I used to film in my house so you could see the arms of the chair, and the arms are completely fucked up and ruined, and they still are. Yeah. Yeah, you've been following me for a while because I haven't filmed in my house for about a year and a half. Guys, last 5 minutes. I'm sorry. I gotta do something. I can't believe how quick an hour's gone. What's this one? Dan C says, yes, Ade, you're spot on with your assessment. I could see from round 2, although Yarde was boxing well, Beterbiev's power was clear to see. You called it right last night about Beterbiev's jab. Beterbiev's jab's a right hand. It's a right hand. Like I said it on the video. I don't know if you guys watched my post-fight video. I said most people use the jab as a rangefinder, as a gauge. He uses his jab as the fucking shot. It's the shot. Like it's not, I'm going to get you and then bang with the right. No. It's the shot. That is the right hand. That's the fucking trigger. That's what I said yesterday on the video. Joel Farmer, Ade, what does Yarde need to do to improve? Is it stamina issues? Was his jab not good enough? Some say change trainer. Why? I don't know. I think for those people that are saying that, they've got to understand who he was in with. Do you know what I mean? He was in with, you could argue, one of the greatest light heavyweights we've ever seen. Do you know what I mean? That's who he was in with. I don't know what people expect sometimes. I mean, could another trainer have made him get another round? Maybe, but ultimately he was going to lose. Like I think this is the issue. Like when this fight was first mentioned, I think maybe because people started to change their mind towards the end. When this fight was first mentioned back in August, remember it was supposed to happen in October. Everyone said Yarde is dead. I spoke to Chris Mannix and Sergio Mora in America. Oh, Yarde is done. He's done. He's dead. He went 8 rounds and proved that he wasn't done and wasn't dead. So he done as well as he could. Expectations changed when the fight was getting closer. But ultimately, if you went to what you first thought, most of you on this chat would have first thought Yarde hasn't got a chance in hell. That's what I said. I said I gave him a 10% chance. It went 8 rounds. Someone saying Yarde was hitting the back of the head. Why no protest? You know what it is? Yarde on the way down, he was on the way down. He kind of turned his head. It was awkward. He kind of turned it, so he kind of got hit here a little bit, but it was done by then. It was done. The last thing he's thinking about is protest. He was done. He was out. He was out. 2 secs. All right. Shit. Literally, guys, last 2 minutes. I can't believe it. I'm so sorry. Can't believe it. Octagon Talk says Yarde proved all the doubters wrong, including myself. Yeah, look, good. It was a good performance from Yarde, but we need to see it on a more consistent basis. But it was a good performance, guys. I gotta go. Oh, only an hour 20. How quick did that hour 20 go? Like, how did that go so quick? Jesus Christ. Sorry, we are going to do loads more videos throughout the week as well. No fight on Saturday, so we might do something. I don't know. Remember, I'm leaving it on Friday though, so I don't know if my new setup's going to be ready by then, but we'll see. Punch Perfect, I will try and arrange it with him to get him in the studio. We'll see, because it isn't just me. I need my cameraman in here as well. But look, if you are new to the channel and you are just about to leave the stream, do me one favor before you leave. A thumbs up would be nice, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed before. But thank you so much for jumping on the live. Sorry that's only an hour, 20 minutes, which is what we normally do, by the way, but I felt like we needed 2 hours today. I've got to go. I'm already late. Peace and love, people.